Beer here back in the Fantasy Bar, week 16 on tap. 6 guys ready for you on FanDuel and DraftKings, including my favorite value play at the wide receiver position. We've got a team we are loading up on here this week. Couple of mid-range young running backs I think are in smash spots. And of course, my favorite play on the slate, who I think is vastly underpriced over on DraftKings. Who we talking about? Only one way to find out. It's time to belly up to the Fantasy Bar. Welcome in, guys. Week 16 edition, season cruising right along. We are back with 6 of my favorite plays for you on the main slate for week 16 on FanDuel and DraftKings. Thank you as always for stopping by and checking out this week's video. Before we get to my favorite plays, let's take care of the housekeeping. You guys know the drill by now. You enjoy the content you like, checking in at the Fantasy Bar. Take a second, click that thumbs up button. Really helps us out. So thank you for that. Also, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. And guys, got to check out special holiday sale on our props and pick'em package over at RotoGrinders. 50% off here for your first month, up 33 units on that package. So go and check it out. If you love betting props, take advantage of this special sale. Again, 50% off for you guys hanging out here in the Fantasy Bar. All right. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody out there. Enjoy all the different slates. And of course, the time with family, friends, and the big man himself, Santa Claus. All right, let's get going into the Sunday main slate. Let's start at the running back position with Bijan Robinson of Atlanta. Now, some of you guys are ready to shut off the video already. Hear me out. I think the uncertainty here, a lot of people not sure what this split's going to look like, what kind of role is he going to have. We never know with Arthur Smith, but I think this is a spot we can capitalize on some Bijan Robinson. Look, Atlanta playing for their lives. Arthur Smith, there's already whispers, playing for his job. And what a matchup we get here with the Indianapolis Colts over the last 8 games, giving up almost 140 rushing yards per game. You also look at some of the other stats. They've been horrific against running backs. Second most rushing touchdowns, only behind the Carolina Panthers, who we have spotlighted many a times here. 5th most receiving yards, very important here. I expect Bijan Robinson to be very involved in the passing game this week, and 3rd most fantasy points allowed to the running back position. So yes, wide range of outcomes here. This play not for everybody, but I think we get a big Bijan week. I don't think a lot of people are going to be on him. Likely low owned in a smash spot here against the Indianapolis Colts. All right, let's get you some value at the wide receiver position with Parker Washington of Jacksonville. So we know Jacksonville, Christian Kirk out for the year. Zay Jones sounds like he's going to miss not only this game, but potentially a couple weeks, labeled week to week by Doug Peterson. I think it's Parker Washington who steps into that number 2 role. We are getting him super cheap here, under 4,000 on DraftKings. Now, 6 targets, 2 of the last 3 games, has also scored in 2 of the last 3 games. We're keeping an eye on the Trevor Lawrence situation. Even if it's CJ Beathard, I still like these prices here for Parker Washington because I love the matchup here. Tampa Bay, bottom 5 in the entire league in receptions, receiving yards, fantasy points allowed to this position. And we know Calvin Ridley going to garner most of the attention from this defense here. So Jamal Agnew, also a guy you can look at this week. I think Parker Washington, an absolute smash play at these cheap prices on both FanDuel and DraftKings. All right, let's go to tight end next. We are going with TJ Hockenson of Minnesota. So I try to give you guys I would play in cash games and in tournaments, and Hockenson certainly fits the bill of a guy you can play in almost any formats here. The floor, very solid. 7 or more targets, 12 times already this season. The upside that we need in tournaments, he has shown us that. He has 30-point upside, a couple games over 20 this season, and a model of consistency. We're talking 50 or more receiving yards in 12 of the last 13 games. And what a spot here against Detroit. We'll get some of the narratives for fun after we get you guys the stats. But Minnesota, home underdogs here, potentially playing from behind, throwing the ball a little bit more. 47, the total on this game. It's not quite as high as the Miami-Dallas game, but certainly a game that you're going to want to target here. And let's talk narratives here. First, the revenge game against his former team. The Vikings playing for their playoffs lives is not necessarily a must win, but if they have any aspirations of winning this division, I know it was a very long shot, but getting into playoffs even, this is a very important game. And they're going to see this same Detroit team here in a couple weeks. And we have all the hype on Sam Laporta, best rookie tight end ever, yada, yada, yada. TJ Hockenson comes out and plays here. So between the floor, between the ceiling, between the game environment, and you add in all the narratives, TJ Hockenson easily my favorite tight end here for week 16. All right, we like Hockenson. We like the guy throwing the ball as well. We roll with quarterback Nick Mullins. So another play. Some of you are going to love it. Some of you are going to hate it here, but Nick Mullins has shown he can lead this team over 300 passing yards in that game against the Cincinnati Bengals. Went over 22 DraftKings points, and the salary barely moved here. Only ticked up a couple hundred here. So one of the things I really like here, Nick Mullins going to have to throw the ball a lot. Detroit been very good against opposing running games. They've allowed the fewest fantasy points to this position here. The Lions going to put points on the board. So whether they're playing from behind or in a shootout, a lot of different game flows here for Nick Mullins that can get us there. The Lions have struggled with the quarterback position as well. 8th most passing touchdowns allowed, 4th most fantasy points. I think Mullins goes over 20 DraftKings points again. I think he has the upside to get us near 30 at these prices. A smash spot here, Nick Mullins, my favorite quarterback for week 16. All right, back to the running back position next with Breece Hall of the Jets. So kind of similar to Bijan Robinson. You never quite know what you're going to get from Breece Hall, but I love embracing the uncertainty here that the market is going to have here. And after that dud in Miami, I think a lot of people are going to shy away here, which is a mistake. I think we're going to get a lot more going on the ground here. A lot of his production has been through the air, 28 targets over the last 4 games. But in this spot against Washington, which should be a close competitive game, I think you're really going to see them get him going on the ground, and that passing game usage isn't going anywhere. Washington, bottom 10 in almost everything you could imagine against running backs. Rushing yards, receiving yards, which is important here for Breece Hall. Rushing and receiving touchdowns. In fact, 2nd most receiving touchdowns allowed to the running back position. And of course, bottom 10 in fantasy points as well. Great spot here for Breece Hall. I am rolling the dice, getting them in my lineups here for week 16. All right, it's time. Take a look at my favorite play for week 16. Before we do that, let's continue our Beast of the Week contest. Easy to play, free to play. Most importantly, a big thank you to you guys here, especially around the holidays. Want to get you a shot at some free RotoGrinders Premium NFL an entire month. All you have to do, click that thumbs up button and head to the comment section and guess fantasy points on DraftKings this week. Whoever has the closest guess to my Beast of the Week's production, you're going to win that free month of RotoGrinders Premium NFL. All right, let's wrap it up with my favorite play for week 16. You know, Matt's the Beast of the Week. All right, Beast time, we owe you a wide receiver, and we are going back and finishing our stack. We are rolling with Justin Jefferson of the Vikings, this week's Beast of the Week. So we've already talked Hockenson, Nick Mullins. Let's round it out here with Justin Jefferson. Love the spot here for Minnesota. We mentioned all the narratives, all the playoff drama, the division, the game against Detroit, but the price here on Justin Jefferson feels like stealing over on DraftKings. $8,100, same price he was last week, but the lowest prices we have seen on him in quite some time here. 10 targets last week from Nick Mullins, and the Lions, we mentioned how good they are against the run, but this secondary, absolutely horrific. 4th most receiving touchdowns allowed, 2 wide receivers, 6th most fantasy points allowed. You can run this stack back with a variety of options on the Detroit side. I am all in on the Minnesota Vikings and Justin Jefferson, easily my favorite play on the board in this week's Beast of the Week. All right, guys, that'll do it for week 16 here in our holiday edition of the Six Pack. Any comments, questions, or feedback, as always, guys, hit me up in that comment section right below the video. Don't forget Justin Jefferson's DraftKings points for your shot at a free month of RotoGrinders Premium NFL. And I want to know, who's your Beast of the Week? Who's your top play? Sound off in that YouTube comment section. Thumbs up button if you have not already. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, and check out the props and pick'em package. If you're into betting props, why not arm yourself with some of the best information, some of the best analysts around over at RotoGrinders. Go and check that out when you are done here. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Thank you guys for everything. For RotoGrinders.com, I am Beer saying salut. Enjoy the slate, enjoy the Christmas, enjoy the holidays, and we will see you next week.
Hey, thanks for checking out our videos. If you want more expert advice on DraftKings, FanDuel, or any other daily fantasy sports, make sure you check out the current videos playlist